Can you affirm or deny that in successive years, recent years, known criminals have used their Accomponng as a hiding spot, yes or no?
Well, in successive governments, Colonel Fearon Williams was a former police, and he would actually use the police to enforce the rule of law in Accomponng, and that was the relationship at the time. So I am not aware of anyone using Accomponng as a base or a hiding place for any illicit activity, because that would be under that previous administration, and I'm pretty sure the police would want to say that they had a great reputation.
I want to know, so you're saying no?
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, no.
You are not aware? I'm going to give you some names, and I want to ask you, so you said you're not aware, Ambassador Annie.
You're talking about what kind of activities? Yeah, I mean, you have to make me aware, other than the bank that we're currently having an issue with, the so-called bank, that is being investigated.
I'm talking about illegal activities in terms of banking transfers, looming monies.
Yes,
solar.
That's what you're talking about. Okay,
yes, that's where I'm getting
at. I thought you were
white collar criminality. White collar criminality.
I thought you were making reference more to, maybe murderers trying to run to seek safe haven. I thought that was...
No, I'm not talking about murderers, hardcore criminals. I'm talking about white collar criminals. Are white collar criminals hiding in their Accomponng?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure if you have been made aware of, certain things that have been circulating regard, to a so-called bank that was trying to be established in the Accomponng territory.
What is it was trying to be? Repeat that. Ambassador, I'm very melodramatic. That's my personality. But I want you to repeat. You say you're doing banking in the Accomponng?
Well, banking would have started or tried to have, be established prior to the Chief Curry administration. So under the Fearon Williams administration, going back as far as 2014.
So before we get up, can you tell me the chief, who is Fearon Williams? This name has been circulating quite frequently. Who is Fearon Williams?
Chief Fearon Williams was the former chief of Accomponng. He would have lost the election as of recent of last year, February 2021, where he tried to run for a third term. So he had 2 terms in Accomponng, and there were issues around actually a re-election being called. There was no election at the time being called after his second term, because each colonel gets 5 years. So after his second term, doing a full 2 years, there were issues, and the people were calling for an election. The people did finally get their election, and this is the interesting part. There has to be mediation. Again, I talk about, this informal relationship, meaning nothing really set in stone on paper. So during that time, there would have been calls for the Ombudsman of Jamaica to intervene to try and help as a mediator as to the issue that was going on in Accomponng.
You're saying you called on the political ombudsman to intervene?
At that point in time, yes.
But I'm going to ask you, if you have your sovereignty, why are you going to be calling on the government of Jamaica's political ombudsman?
And that is completely correct. So prior, as I said...
As a sovereign nation, you need to have your own government. And as a sovereign nation, you need to have all key functionaries. So if you're going to be calling on a political ombudsman for another state, it means that your sovereignty is not intact.
Correct. So again, this was prior to Chief Richard Curry being installed as chief. All right, that we need to make that absolutely clear. Now, the issue is that we realize that the sovereignty that Kojo and our ancestors would have fought for as a free people is expressed within that document would have been diluted and would have somehow started to become amalgamated again with the British jurisdiction. And the point of fact here is that there is no document or no proof that can show that the Maroons ceded back any land or that status back into the British jurisdiction, and that cannot be shown, hence why we're even having this court case. So what I am saying is we have to look at some of these interactions with the government of Jamaica in a sort of like a joint venture of sorts or a partnership. If we're having problems and we do not have the infrastructure, yet we do have this jurisdictional status, this territorial status, if you want to call it this privilege, right? As I said very clearly, it's an informal relationship that we currently have with the government. Jamaica and Chief Richard Curry and our administration with the full Maroon Council have been trying and imploring that a formal relationship needs to be had, especially with what you were saying earlier, with if we are moving forward as an island, as a people, together as brothers and sisters, as we're saying, out of many one people, or with Kinda, meaning one family, which came prior to the matter out of many one people, right? So if we're going to look at this relationship, you